I think everybody can hear me now and see me now. I think so. I believe we are. There it is. We're live with the stream right here. Hey, welcome back. Veterans Making a Difference, episode 11. Whew, man, it's been a hell of a ride so far. My 11th guest. This has been amazing. First and foremost, I wanted to say thank you, everybody, for all your support. The Silver Fox really appreciates it very much. As you saw, I shaved the beard off. I had some psoriasis stuff going on under there, but I still got the hair, so I maintained my title of the Silver Fox. So appreciate that. Last but not least, please, I advise you to help me out with my efforts of supporting the Amphibious Tractor Memorial, my partners. Every single penny that I make off the podcast, Meta, all these other platforms, I donate every penny of it to that worthy effort. More subscribers, please hit that subscribe button. All those good things to help push, share, will help indeed, me grow that and hopefully get double the money over there. So, amen. It's cost you nothing. I'll do all the work. All right. I think that is all the updates for now. Oh, last update. I'm sorry. Time right now, once this video is done, published, and uploaded at the end of this live stream, will be episode number 350. So this will be 350 videos in 2.5 years. Consistency is key. We're not supposed to ever, brag on ourselves. We were trained better than that as staff NCOs in the Marine Corps, but I'm awfully damn proud of that, man. I'm really excited about that, man. It's an amazing achievement, and I have no intentions of stopping. I'm not even 50 years old yet, so here we go. All right, man, that's it. Shutting it down. I got somebody amazing on the other end of the microphone tonight. I served with this woman, and she is phenomenal. She went all the way from E1 enlisted to 04 lieutenant commander in the Navy. She's a limited duty officer, did a lot of cool things. And the reason why I wanted to bring her to you was not just for her to share about her service, but she is somebody, who is passionate about certain niche things that she's got going on in her professional life. And she had the courage, to pursue those things full on, and not do, the workforce thing that we're doing. And she's all in on her entrepreneurship and her business. And I respect that, man. It's all about pursuing our passions. So let's give a warm welcome to my sister on the other side, the lovely, talented, and tremendous Miss Natasha Norris, Lieutenant Commander, United States Navy, retired. Welcome aboard, ma'am.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to share on your platform. This is amazing. I love the work that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you, Natasha. I appreciate it. I thank you for your time because time is valuable. And since it's so valuable, let's go ahead and get into it right away. If you would tell everybody a little bit about yourself, like where you're from, and kind of unpack it until your Navy time, please.
Yeah, I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. That's where I was born, but I lived kind of all over northern and southern California. Ultimately, coming back to Los Angeles at the end of my high school years, graduated from Dorsey High School. Go Dorsey Dons! If you're from LA, you understand. And then worked for a little bit. I graduated at 17, worked for a few years doing some odd and end jobs, really wasn't doing much of anything. But I had already knew that I wanted to join the military. I think I had said that out loud when I was 15 or 16. And when the opportunity presented itself at 19, I jumped all over it, and then away I went.
Yeah. Before I ask you, why you joined the Navy, your folks, right? Like, what did they do to help kind of shape you into the young woman that you were? What did they do for a living? And how did they impact you?
Um, so childhood wasn't that great. But I'll say that what my what my childhood did for me was it made me a stronger person. It made me more resilient and persistent. I think one of the things my family would all agree on is that I've never taken no as an answer. I'll find a way to get through or break through. So yeah, I just think that my upbringing made me just a stronger woman, but that's kind of good and bad.
Uh,
So
I get it. We all have our turmoil and our trauma and stuff, throughout our childhood. It's never perfect. I understand, but
yeah.
um, okay. So your Navy time, right? You decide to enlist. at the time at 19 years old in the United States Navy. Why the heck did you do that? Why weren't you a Marine? What's going on, my friend?
Ooh, no, sir. Mm-mm. I I love my Marine brethren, but and you know, I can't do the field. You know, I have a I mean, just a huge fear of bugs that stems from childhood trauma, and so I could not. There was no way y'all would have put me out. You would have sent me home. I wouldn't have been made through boot camp.
Yeah. How come? Why the Navy then? How come? What was attractive about the Navy and stuff?
um, the idea of going to bed and waking up in a whole nother country was
Mm,
intriguing. And then me just always being a person who's had a servant's heart. I just wanted to serve, and then I just needed the opportunity, right, to get out of the situation that I was in, and that ultimately is what kind of led to me saying, okay, this is now is the time. You've been saying you wanted to do this. Now is the time. Um, but it was the best decision I ever made. I mean, it 100% my life would be totally different.
as we say, no regrets, right? No
Absolutely.
regrets. Yeah, it's you know, we you hear that a lot. Again, you know, you're not the it's not the 350th person I've had on 350th video, but if you know the 30, 40 people I've had on before you, that comes up a lot. Like, hey, I wanted to get out of an environment and go do something to improve my life. And that's usually a good reason to join the military service.
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, absolutely.
What'd you do when you were a young sailor? What's your rating, as we say in the Marine Corps MOS? What was your rating?
So I got the old banana in the tailpipe from my detailer. First, she told me that there were marriage quarters on the ship. So I ended up getting married right before I came in the Navy. And she sold me on the whole coming in as an undesignated seaman. Oh, you get to pick whatever job you want and
Mm,
you can go and work here and there. And it's just this wonderful, beautiful thing. And I was like, yes, sign me up.
yeah.
So I came in as an undesignated deck seaman. So I did a whole lot of painting, sweeping, chipping paint, and slushing wire and skating. A lot of skating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're on a naval vessel during your time as an undesignated seaman?
Yes.
Okay.
That was my first duty station on the USS Mount Hood.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then when you did pick up a rating, what'd you do from your time, you know, the rest of your enlisted time? What was your rating?
I was a master at arms.
You're an
Hmm.
MA.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah. That was
So
back when you had to apply.
I see.
And then so I had to apply twice. The first time I applied, they were like, young lady, you need to go find a rate that's better suited for you. Not only no, but hell no.
Yeah.
Because my record was horrible. I was a horrible deck seaman.
Really?
Oh yeah. I think I might even still have my first eval around here somewhere that was like a, I don't know, 1 point something or 2 points. It was really low.
That is pretty bad. That's all right. It's not how you start, it's how you finish, right? There you go. Man, so for the viewers out there, Master at Arms is military, police, security type details. That's kind of what a Master at Arms does in the Navy. So during your time when you're an MA before you became, you know, an officer, you know, like did you enjoy that job?
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
And I ended up being a dog handler for my first 3 years as a
Oh,
master
nice.
of arms. And so I loved it. It was
Yeah.
amazing. I just loved everything about being a master at arms. The community, service that we did, the physical security, just the interaction with people. I got a little overzealous initially with my DUI stops, but I just loved it so much. I
Hmm.
love being an MA.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's cool. You know, the females in service, right? You guys are the minority in every branch, right? Especially the Marine Corps. You're talking single digits in the Marine Corps, but in the Navy, there's a higher population, but still, it's a male dominated service.
Mhm.
And I always kind of ask my female veterans, you know, this is that um, there's statistics out there that say that every 3 out of every 5 females that serve have had some type of either like sexual trauma or something sexually inappropriate or just something, some boundary was crossed of theirs, right? Like their privacy was violated in some way, et cetera. About 3 out of every 5. That's a high statistic.
It is.
And I know during warm-ups that we exchanged and I had asked you and you said that you didn't quite have those violations done to you. So like what was kind of like your ticket to success that sort of allowed you to avoid those things from happening to you? Like how did you carry yourself? How'd you conduct yourself? Not that it matters, but just if we can provide a little bit of insight from a veteran like yourself.
I think because I'd always been on such high guard because of things that happened to me in the past. I've been sexually assaulted and molested several times from the ages of between 4 and 15. So my guard has always been high, especially when it comes to being around men. And so, I'm not going to be the only female hanging with a bunch of men after work, even though we're coworkers and we see each other every day, and it's all good at work. That's fine, but outside, it can become a different story, especially when alcohol becomes involved. And so, I just did my best to not put myself in those types of environments because I knew what happened to me in the past, and so just avoiding those certain things, not necessarily carrying myself in any kind of particular way that would lead a man to not do it. It was just I just think I because I didn't insert myself in those situations. I'll
That's
just say
really
I
good
was more luck
advice.
than anything else, you know.
That's actually really really good advice. Is just talking through that. Hey, just be mindful of your surroundings. Be careful of where you position yourself at. And the time of day, alcohol, all those things, all traps that can easily create an environment where you can be violated. And again, not that it's that person's fault. It's never their fault. It's wrong to be violated, even if you are carrying yourself a certain way. It's still wrong, but we do
Absolutely.
have a duty as veterans, I think, to help, share our experiences to help, people avoid some of these, sticky situations they can get themselves into. So I appreciate you sharing that, Natasha.
Yeah. And I get it, especially when you're, a female in a male dominated community, you want to feel a part of the team. You know what I mean? So you kind of almost feel that peer pressure to do those kinds of things. And I think, it's time and place, right? It's one thing to go to a restaurant, we're all out in a public place, and a whole other thing to be in a house or in a hotel room, or, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So the environment, of course, plays a big part in that as well. But I would just say, your authentic self is what's going to earn the respect. You don't have to, fall into those. I don't want to call them traps because I don't want to believe that our brothers would set intentionally set us up in that kind of way. But things happen when like again when alcohol's involved. It
Yeah.
just does. And so um yeah, just think it's important to take those things into consideration.
Yeah, no doubt. I guess when you're a retired sergeant major, you read enough of those investigations. I could be a little cynical about these topics. So apologies, Natasha, but
No,
I
you're
just
fine.
tell
Yeah.
you. Well, you must have done pretty well because in order, to transition from enlisted over to the officer ranks, you got to get some strong letters of recommendation. You got to have some people in your corner that are sort of championing your leadership skills, your proficiency skills, and just your character and your maturity in order to make that transition. So, how come you decided to become an officer and kind of share your experiences on why you chose that route rather than be a chief?
Well, it wasn't that I didn't want. So what happened to me was I was in zone for chief and LDO at the same time. And it was around that same time that if you had put in an application, they automatically pulled your recommendation for advancement to chief before they would allow you to advance, knowing that you were eventually going to commission. But then that's a waste of a billet, right? So they stopped doing that. So that's when I kind of transitioned. So who knows? I could have picked up chief. not, I don't know, but it wasn't that I didn't want to be a chief. That's just kind of how it panned out. But I knew that I wanted to be an officer from the time I was in E5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had applied for the Seaman Admiral program prior to the LDO uh, program. And it was, for me, it was just about wanting to make an impact on a greater scale. There were some things going on at that particular time that I just didn't care for, and I thought, you know what, I wish if I could be in a position to make a difference, you know what I mean. And then I had some amazing mentors. Commander Zelig, one of them, who I really looked up to. He was awesome. Um, and then of course, my husband, who was he's amazing. Uh, and
Shout out, Mr. Terry. Shout out to
yeah.
you.
And my first chief, or my first two chiefs, Chief Massioni and Chief Eagle, I mean, um, really helped me to see my potential. Um, and so that was just, for me, it was about wanting to just make a bigger impact, wanting uh, I just wanted to be able to have a voice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bigger voice.
Because
Get it.
things were just happening that I just, and it was all, 9/11 was going on. So there was a lot of knee jerk reaction type things going on. And so it was just, it was a turbulent time. Um, but I just knew that for me, it was a path that I wanted to take so that I could serve sailors in a different capacity.
Yeah, definitely. You get it. Like I said, you get a larger voice, and more decision making, and you have authority now. A lot of authority as an officer compared to enlisted folk.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much authority. Yeah, awesome, man. So let's go ahead and move the ball forward a little bit. I didn't say in the beginning that. Yeah, no, I didn't say in the beginning that you and I served together, shoulder to shoulder, at Marine Corps Security Force Battalion, Kings Bay, a very unique place indeed,
Yeah.
where the unit is a Marine Corps unit, but half of your unit consists of Master at Arms sailors, and you collectively, between Marines and Navy, fly under that flag, and you go out there and provide security to the East Coast Ballistic Fleet, the most powerful weapons in the world, and you got to make it work. Teamwork makes the dream work, and so Natasha was one of our lieutenants, and what we started doing when she, during her time and a little bit before my time, is we started mixing the leadership billets up between Navy and Marine Corps. Whereas before, because it was a Marine unit, most of the leadership billets the Marines did, and then the sailors would kind of serve under. Well, we started mixing that up, changing out some senior enlisted positions, some company commander positions. The XO position was no longer a senior naval officer position, et cetera. So not to bore you with all the details. But Natasha was chosen by the battalion commander and the executive officer to be the first female company commander at Kings Bay of Bravo Company. What was that experience like for you, my friend?
Tough, but amazing. Tough, but amazing. So I always say that, there's two tours that were the two of the best tours in my career, and that was one of them. The other was Gitmo for other reasons, but that tour really helped me grow as an officer. One of the things that I really love about the Marine Corps is how you guys um, grow your Marines, from not just the officers. I mean, your NCOs and everything. You guys think on a different level. Even just the training that we do, and reading a Dr. Seuss book and tearing it apart, and it's on this 10,000. How do you take Dr. Seuss and take it up here? You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And they always, how people, make jokes about Marines. Well, they gotta have books with pictures. No, they're freaking smart. Y'all have no
Oh yeah, they call us crayon eaters and
idea.
shit and all that stuff. Yeah.
I'm like,
The
no.
dumbest service.
So I definitely I enjoyed that. I enjoyed as hard, tough, frustrating, I had some really tough conversations with, other, Marine captains, and we've been at each other's throats and all the things. And then to then come together after that and say, hey, I get it. I get your point. I'm like, yeah, I get your point too. And then we kind of can come together, and it's a wash, and walk away respecting each other. I definitely, what I mean? That was awesome for me as a female officer there, because it could have gone a whole different way, right? You
Yeah.
often hear where women are kind of talked over and kind of passed around, and it's like they're not there. You know what I mean? Not passed around, passed over. Let me
Yeah.
try to correct that. But um, and I didn't have that experience. I felt like I had a lot of support between you and Master Chief, um, and between talking me off the ledge, or us kind of coming together to figure out a good plan of action that kind of made sense for everybody, because we are this mishmash of uh, um, uh, services, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
kind of operate differently, but the same in ways as well. And so for me, it helped me grow in so many different ways. I thought that, I'll be honest, I thought that whole tour that I was just hated. I thought, oh God, the Marines hate me. They just hate me. I know they're glad. They'll be glad when I leave. And then that last run, when they presented me with the flag, our company flag, if I
Yeah.
had to keep it together, because I'm like, I'm gangster. I'm not gonna cry. Gangster don't
Yeah.
cry.
Yeah. I'm with you.
But I'll admit, I did. I shed a tear or two. That was just that for me. Kind of, it was confirmation that, um, I did the right thing while I was there.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
you earned that position. 100% you earned that position. Your professionalism, your dedication to the sales and to the Marines, and you took security job very serious, as you should. But we know that us that served there, that's not always the case. You get
Yeah.
some half steppers that run around there. You get some very complacent folks, etc. And we're always looking for go getters, and you were that. So, hey, to all the Marines and sailors that served, there during our time, thank you guys. You guys were
Yes.
amazing. Within the walls of our battalion, it was one of the best tours I ever had, and I met some. I got lifelong friendships today with with Bob Arias and Gary Burden and Rich Pitchford, yourself, numerous other people. I could sit here all day and name sailors and Marines that I got still have good personal relationship connections with them still today, and it's been over 12 years now since I was at
Yes.
Kings Bay. It was
Yes.
amazing.
Yes. And that's the beauty of the military, man. You can find family anywhere.
Yep.
You don't have to be blood. You can be anywhere in the world,
Yeah.
and you just become family, and
No
you're
doubt.
connected forever. So
We are tribe, ma'am. We are tribe. So let's talk about your you ultimately served 26 years in the United States Navy, Lieutenant Commander. Big money on the way out the door, right? You're getting ready to go. So I guess my question to you is to try to give some of these folks that are going to see this some good wisdom, and some something to get them thinking a little bit differently. Why didn't you choose the route like 90% of us do, like yours truly over here, who's Mr. Federal Worker now? I still work with the Navy and the Marine Corps, and I like what I do and everything. But for yourself, you just had a certain passion for entrepreneurship and business, which isn't uncommon, but your passion for it is what's more uncommon. Tell everybody about it.
well, so initially, I thought, when I retired, I was going to retire and not do anything. And then month 6 rolled around, and I'm like, okay, there's only so much TV I can watch. I'm about to pull my hair out. I got to do something. And I've always wanted to, own my own skincare line. And an opportunity was presented, but of course, research and all the things. And in the meantime, I said, okay, while I'm doing all this research and figuring this thing out, I am going to go back to work and, help fund this thing, right? every single job, and when I tell you every single job, with the exception of commission only jobs, everyone came back and said I was unqualified.
Mm.
Unqualified from GS5 to on up. Yeah.
Wow.
And so but as I'm getting these denials, these opportunities in the beauty industry are presenting itself. And I'm praying over these things like, okay, what, just order my steps, right? And I'm asking for my steps to be ordered, but I'm not listening because I'm still filling out these job applications
Mm-hmm.
and not paying attention. And so, um, I was thinking like how can I pull my two passions together, which is, pouring into women and empowering them to just stop and put themselves first and implement self care practices in their lives, with my passion for beauty. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, it's perfect. Skincare, nurturing your skin is self care, ties in with self love, because a lot of times the first thing that women do when things go, when the grits hit the fan, right, is we stop bathing, we don't get out the bed, we don't,
Yeah.
anything that has to do with care for us, we stop. And so I said, okay, all right, that's what I'm going to use my platform for. And
Nice.
so, went to work, and that's kind of what I do. I like to go around and curate spaces for women to come in, and I'll bring in an esthetician so they can get a facial. I'll set up a boom bar. They can take a bouquet home, and we'll have mimosas and food, and we'll talk about things that matter to us, and just give them a space to just be
Mm-hmm.
and experience the skincare line. And so that's kind of how we got started, and then things have just kind of taken off from there. And it's been amazing. We just launched an affiliate program this month. That came from, we were kind of talking about this earlier about the layoffs and things that people are experiencing, and that prompted me to launch this affiliate program to help families earn extra income. Um, because it's just I don't I don't understand how these families are surviving. It's just it's just hard. It definitely pulls at my heartstrings, and we wrestled with how can we help, and so we found the solution. And so really, the brand is about giving back and empowering women to just stop and put ourselves first. We did launch our men's line as well, and so we're going to be doing some things for our men coming up here in the next week or so also.
Beautiful, man. You were on a magazine cover or in something along those lines. I don't remember which one it was, but I know that you had an article or something published about it. Can you just talk about it real quick?
Yeah. So I was on the cover of Behind Your Smile magazine, who's authored, published by Shauna Gills. And so they did a feature on my story, basically, how all of this kind of came about with the self care journey and kind of putting all that together. Um, is when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia in 2019, my rheumatologist, because I was happy, I was like, okay, because we had been going through testing for like 3 years trying to figure out what it was. So when I got the diagnosis, I was so excited. I'm like, give me the tea, the powder, the juice, whatever it is that I need to drink to manage this thing. And he said, no, I'm going to give you a consult to a therapist, because typically when this happens in women at this stage in life, it's due to unprocessed childhood trauma. And so then I had to now go sit with 4-year-old through 15-year-old Natasha and unpackage all the things. And so that's where my self-care journey began. And that's at age 4. That was 42 at that time. And so that's
Wow.
kind of how that kind of pours into what I use my platform for, in terms of inspiring and empowering women to implement self-care practices in their lives, because I don't want women to be 42 and finally figuring it out after having an incurable, chronic diagnosis. I want you to know in your 20s, you need to take care of yourself. You love your husband and your kids, yes, but take 5 minutes for yourself and just sit and do nothing if that's what makes you happy, you know?
Yeah.
So
A
that's what it's all
couple
about.
couple of shout outs from the chat. Thanks for chiming in the chat. Miss Patricia, what a smart, courageous woman. Listen up, lady. She just gave great advice. That's true, man. You got
Oh, thank you.
we all know people that do everything and they put themselves last. And your point is, and then of course I got a what up from my guy over there, Mr. Eric. Thanks, brother. For those of you who are tuning in a little bit late, we're catching up on the live stream here. Veterans Making a Difference, episode number 11 with Miss Natasha Norris, who's an entrepreneur. She's out there, helping out, ladies, with their self importance and their self worth and their care. Um, the other thing I wanted to ask you is your book, and I apologize. I got my wife a copy for Mother's Day, a copy of Natasha's new book called Gracious. I didn't bring it down with me, but do you have a copy with you close
I
by?
do. I
Yeah,
do.
hold that thing up, man.
Okay, let me grab it really quick because
Okay,
that's
no
out of
worries.
my reach.
No problem.
Okay, there we go.
Appreciate you, brother Eric. Thank you. And then there it is right there, gratitude. Tell everybody a little bit about it, please, and where they can find it and all those good things.
Yeah, so gratitude, gratitude, the connection between self-care, self-love, and skincare. So I truly do believe that there is a connection. So anytime you stop to care for yourself, to nurture yourself, that's an act of self-care. And again, kind of getting back to what we kind of talked about before, a lot of times when people fall into depressive states, that's the first thing they stop is self-care. And so part of what this journal does is for people who are, maybe either beginning their self-care, self-healing journey, even if you're beginning your skincare journey and you want to, be more intentional about it. This journal is a 30-day kind of guide. It has a mindfulness prompt every day. It has a self-reflection every day, and it has an affirmation and a goal. And so, and a skincare prompt. I'm sorry. And so, basically, every day it's you spending time with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know how do you feel today? How did that mask make your skin feel tonight? What did you accomplish? What goal did you set yesterday for today, and did you accomplish it? And if you didn't, why didn't you? And how do you feel about that kind of thing? And just
Yeah.
learning to give yourself some grace, and kind of slowing down and being intentional about um, pouring back into yourself.
No, it's great. I was thumbing through her book when we got it in. You almost have to do like a little self-evaluation report card on yourself as well each day. It's interactive. And my wife, I've been telling her, like, you need to start filling it out. And she's like, I'm getting to it. Right after this, she goes on a business trip. She's going to come back. She's going to get to it. But she really likes it. It presents itself really well. And one of our chat commenters wanted to know how they can find the book and how can they support.
Oh, thank you so much. NatashaNorris.com.
Okay, guy. He's a big e-commerce Amazon guy, so he's always shopping on there.
Oh.
Okay, so NatashaNorris.com for anybody
Mhm.
who wants the book, and also you can go to Natasha Norris at Facebook, and I know that she's got some links on her personal profile, etc. on there you can scroll through.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. Now we're getting ready to wrap up, but just a couple quick things. One is that your husband, Mr. Terry, happened to serve about 33 years in the United States Navy. So cumulatively, between the two of you, you got almost 60 years of active duty time. And Mr. Terry is a guy that we call Navy Unicorn, CW05 bosun guy.
Yes.
How is everything going, with you guys, kind of exiting at the same time? How's that dynamic? How's everything looking?
Well, so initially, of course, it was tough, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
we were transitioning from two different households back into one. Um, so of course you deal with that transition. But you know what? You know how people are like, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're gonna do with being in the same house together, all day, all the time. It hasn't been bad for us. I
That's
don't
good.
think, and mainly I think because, well, now most of the time I'm in here and he's, doing his thing. But no, even, the 6 months that we were just kind of glued to each other's hip. It was great. We didn't get on
Mhm.
each other's nerves or anything. I'm surprised now that I think about it. That's pretty
Yeah,
awesome.
that is awesome. Not the same thing in the Chabot household, but we find a way to make it work, man. We're mission accomplished oriented folks. What can you say, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
I did want to personally thank you and Terry publicly for helping me out last year with the veterans mental health awareness video collaboration that we did together. You guys were fantastic. I loved your sound bites, and we put that together and put out an amazing piece of video for people. I believe, but you two are a big part of it. I thank you guys very much for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you for thinking of us. Yeah,
Yeah, you guys are the
enjoyed
best,
it.
man. Hey, what do they say? The best of the best, and was it greatness surrounds himself with greatness, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, and iron sharpens iron.
There you
There
go.
you
There you go.
go.
You sound like a damn Marine, I tell you. All right, man. Parting shots, wisdom, advice, any shout outs to family. You got a couple minutes here to get us kind of wrapped up, okay? It's on you, my friend. Go ahead.
First and foremost, I would love to just shout out my mom for her support when I came to her and told her initially when I was going to share my story in the first book that I co-authored. She said, "Baby, tell your truth," and it could have went a totally different way. So thank you, Mom, for your constant love and support. Thank you to my husband for just hanging in there. I know I've taken you on a completely different journey than we had planned. We were supposed to be retired forever, and I've put you to work. But I love you, honey. Um, and to everyone who has been with us along this amazing journey. I mean, 19 months, over 2,000 features and media outlets, the countless just messages and gosh, support. Thank you so much. When we started this, I had no idea it was going to grow this fast. This is all about one of the main things that I wanted to do. That the brand is named after my grandmother, Charlie Mae Green. So this is a huge part of this is about honoring her legacy as well, because she was my rock, my baby, my everything, and everything to our family. So thank you so much for that. Next month in June, we're going to kick off our Keep Our Homeless Veterans and Elderly Warm campaign. So look out for that. And if you'd like to donate, you can go to natashanorris.com for that as well. And you will get a free gift this year. For your donation. Thank you so
And
much for this opportunity.
was it Eberly, Texas, correct? Eberly, Texas. Is that where you look? Is that where your event's going at?
Godly, Texas.
Godly, Texas. Okay,
Godly,
for any of you folks that are near the Godly, Texas area, that's where the event's going down. That's great. Natasha, thank you for sharing your story and spend some time with me and my amazing ride or die audience here tonight. I think the most important thing is that some people, if when they start watching the video and stuff and they start hearing about skincare and stuff, they probably like click out, not interested. Remember, it's not it's so much more about the journey. It's more about the practices. It's about the commitment, the dedication. It is about exactly what you're doing. That's what I hope that everybody can get out of this episode, is that they sense your passion for something, they sense your work ethic, your commitment to it, and then they can take that with whatever endeavor that they decide, whatever niche that they want to do, and then they can go indeed make their life more wholesome and more complete. Because the last thing we need is more veterans out there, flaming out. We want to uplift each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anything that I can do to support in that effort, I am here. I am here.
And likewise. Well, thank you. And to everybody out there again, thanks for all your support. We're going to wrap it up here. Natasha, I'm going to need you to hold tight for about a minute afterwards so I can get you a track. But I love you guys. And thank you so much for everything. We'll be back here in a couple weeks with another episode.